Check it out. Oh yeah, strap in for the Enigma DC podcast. Coming straight out the DMV. Sports, food, politics, featuring your host, Ricky Santiago.
Y'all were kids when this came out.
Welcome. We are in the Wolf's Den. Enigma Code DC episode. Is this 8? Is this 8?
It is.
Little pre-Halloween festivities, as you can see. I'm trying to lights a little dim, set the tone. Have some fun. Happy Halloween. It's actually next week, but I figured next week would be crazy. So, great show tonight. I have my man Magnus Burnside riding shotgun. Co-hosting. I got my man LG back in the building.
Yes, sir.
LG was on the show a couple weeks ago. I had tears in my eyes most of the night. He was just off the chain. So we are doing tonight. The hell are we doing tonight? We got Nats real quickly. Game playing in the background. World Series Game 2. I believe scores tied. We'll touch on that briefly. We have school shootings or contingency plans in the school. We touched on that last time. We talked and talked. It's never going to be enough. You're never going to be prepared. We're going to touch on that again for a minute. Going to touch on bullying for a hot second. And I'm missing something. The hell else?
About the police scenarios.
Oh, yeah. That's the main freaking thing. The perception in America of white police officers and black motorists. Everybody has their opinions. We're talking the perception of America. We want to look at this from a different angle. And, of course, the last segment, we have a little bit of fun, like we always do. Need about 120 seconds. You know how we do. We will jump right back into things. The Enigma Code DC.
Yeah, y'all were kids when this came out. I was an adult. This is my era. Yeah. You trying to make me feel good by asking me if I know about it?
But you know what?
I let everybody know I'm 50. Especially them youngers. I'm like, no, I'm 50.
The classics are
I'm not going to be your sugar daddy. No true. What you said?
The classic songs are timeless.
Oh, that's a fact. That's what's the problem. You need to bring that at a topic one night. The diluting of real music.
Nowadays ain't real music. It ended in the 90s.
Huh?
It ended in the 90s.
Yeah. Facts. That's facts.
We are back. Segment 1, Enigma Code DC. Bullying, guys. Let's talk about bullying for let's go to let you know. We got the Nats made it to the the Nats made it to the World Series. Game's playing now. I gotta plug back in. They won the first game out in Houston. Incredible. This is game 2 tonight. Win or lose tonight doesn't really matter because they have 3 games at home. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, in which to win 3 more games. And they had the world chip for...
Yeah.
And we talked about... I just want to ask you guys, this is a football town. So we
But
won,
it's,
we won the chip in hockey.
It's also Major League turning into a baseball game.
It is.
They used to be the Senators, from my understanding.
Yep.
I got educated here.
And Montreal Expos before that. They came from Montreal here in 2005-ish, if I'm not mistaken. But right now, this is a football town. Stanley Cup winners, the Caps 2018, right? I think Bryce Harper won the home run derby in the All-Star game that year. This 2019.
And they sold out this past season.
Right, which is ironic.
And he was doing terrible, actually.
Not doing so well. Well, they saved a whole bunch of money.
So the Nats were smart.
Now, in retrospect, yeah, but 99 out of 100 people before
people
would have said no.
This town was pissed.
They said,
it was a hot topic on the Metro. I was just sitting there minding my business and people cussing on the Metro. I was like, yeah, y'all, it ain't that deep.
Yep. Insane. So they have a chance to wrap this. The Mystics won this year the title. The Nats are looking good right now. What does this do for this city if they win? Is this still a football town or is it now a baseball town?
It still will be, like I said, I'm from New York. I moved here in 01. And I've been to some skin tailgates.
Mm-hmm.
This will remain a football. Watching the Redskins tailgate it's got to. I haven't been to a bunch, to be honest with you, especially being growing up in New York, right? But watching the Redskins tailgate party has got to be up there, even with people from Texas. The Skins tailgate is off the chain.
Oh yeah, well they said it's because the golden years.
It is a family thing. That whole parking lot is full, bro.
A lot of those people don't even go inside to the games.
Bro,
they're so disgusted about what's going on. They stay in the parking lot.
I've been to a tailgate a couple times.
They do that a lot in Texas too.
Stay in the parking lot.
Yeah,
just the whole ride it out the whole day.
In Philly too.
They watch it on TV, and they watch it on TV on tailgates.
I guess you.
They all got jumbotrons out there, and
in the parking lot.
In the parking lot.
That's
bro.
Crazy.
Like, bro, I know what it's like to eat. The first time I ever had deer meat. I didn't even know it was because the guy walked up. Because one thing about them tailgates, everybody's cool with each other, right?
Yep. Especially if you're wearing the right.
So
clothes.
I'm sitting there, and I'm, I look like a rookie at the tailgate, right? Because I'm the one doing, looking around and everything. And this guy says, "Man, try this." I thought these were cut up Franks. And I was like, "Oh man, that is some serious hot dog pictures right there." Everybody started laughing. I was like, "What's so funny?" Man, that's deer meat. I was like, "Oh, for real? Oh wow." I was like, "Man, listen, you guys go all out, bro. They go all out, man. It's the props and the setups and all that. It's unbelievable, man."
Oh man, we rooting for them. The game's on. We're gonna kind of peeking in and out. You guys, tell me. Let's talk about bullying.
It's a huge topic.
It's a huge topic.
I didn't even know it was that. Sadly to say, bullying and abuse on women have some enormous numbers. I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
Given how I grew up, like you ain't just bullying where I'm from. We like, like.
Where you from?
I'm from South Bronx.
Oh, you down Bronx.
That bullying, like what? Like everybody got something. You know what I'm saying on them, but
here's my thing with that.
But that bullying is terrible because now that I understand what it does, the traumatic in the mind, bullying that goes wrong, that can affect the development of a human.
And we didn't think about that.
I'm not thinking about none of that stuff because when I go over, I'm like we swinging back like in the hallway in school, but you know what I'm saying. But man, that person grows up. That could go several ways.
Yeah, it did for me when I was little. Everybody in our block had older brothers or sisters. It was just me and my sister. We were young, so with me. It was like minefields. The neighborhood, go down this street, don't go down this street, dog. Don't go down this street because she's on the porch, she's a bully. Don't go down this street because it was minefield for me and my sister to get home. And it was always flight mode. It was always flight mode. Fight or flight, it was always flight. So now, all that traumatized me. Now I'm in fight mode, and I'm trying to teach my kids to be in fight mode. The mother's like, he's a bully, stay away from my sister. Do not stay away from him. You have the right to go anywhere you want. If it's a bully, you play side by side. If something pops off, you handle it. They hit you, you hit them back. Block, scream, yell, and run, tell the teacher he's hit me after you get a good pop in. But yeah, it was like, when I was little, it was like minefields. You know, and then we moved up to the country, and dogs. Everybody had dogs on the loose. I didn't grow up that way. Kindergarten, first, second, third in Albany in the city, dogs were guard dogs on a leash. You know, they didn't come out. In Cambridge, where we moved to, dogs running loose. Don't go down this street. Don't go down this street. You can go down this
I
street.
can see
you
how
gotta
that
cross
could be
the street.
traumatic.
Minefields.
Because culturally, that's not what you was used to.
So just imagine a kid, middle school,
Bless you.
teenager, high school, bullying at home, bullying in the neighborhood. Just it's a thing now. Now you got to write a report and deal with it because these little kids they're killing themselves, man. Some of them, it's so much pressure they can't.
That's part of the
It
suicide.
consumes them.
That's part of the suicide.
Actually, the military has a huge thing now. Like when you go into the military now, they have huge, like 4-hour almost sometimes, just training on aid for suicidal people and stuff like that. How to cope with it, how to help others, how to reach out, and all sorts of things.
So people get bullied as adults, or is this something that just starts as a little kid? And if you don't get a grip on it, it goes on. You know what I mean?
It happens anywhere, really.
Yeah.
It depends.
It
Because
depends. Yeah, he's right.
I mean, because it doesn't matter. Either you're 15, 27, 36, whatever. There's still people in all age ranges that are assholes.
Yeah.
For lack of better words. But
Nah,
I mean,
good way of putting it.
you have them everywhere. You know, jobs. You have them in schools.
Yeah, you have them
Job
jobs.
bullies are the worst.
Yeah, they're the worst.
Because what you want to do is quit.
Mhm.
And then you're like, why am I going to give up my livelihood and quit because of this person?
They're the
And
worst
some people
because
are
you have to
miserable
deal
on
with it.
jobs.
Hey, they're the worst. I'm sorry to cut you off. They're the worst because you have to deal with it because you have to pay your mortgage.
Yeah,
So it's-
until you can't take it anymore.
You know what I'm saying?
And let's talk about that. People get fired, quit, leave, and come back and shoot up the place. And they're looking for people. They're looking for certain people.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't think so.
One in Virginia Beach, a dude got fired.
But was
Let
that case
go,
was that
came
case
back.
from development of bullying or was that person?
How are we gonna know? Because I think
I
did
see
he
what
kill
you're
him,
saying.
or he killed himself, or he was killed. He came back targeting people. And it happened all the time.
That had to be, because normally, if they're just doing it because they hate the place, there's no targeting.
He's been there for 12 years. He's been there
If
for a long
there's-
period of time.
If there's like constant targeting on certain people, then it's
I see what you're
Something
saying. It
that
reflects
happens.
back to what they right because that's probably turned
it's
on their
something-
snap button.
that actually what happens with that is it's basically almost years in the making. They have this sense of dread and doubt in themselves that when it happens, that in their mind they're like, well, these are the people that made me do this, and now I'm going to get back at them.
Right.
And that's basically what it comes down to.
Right.
I mean, enough to the point where you got to get a gun and go home and come back to the workplace. You know, you know it's probably not going to end well if you do that. And some of these people, do they snap, or is it something that builds till you can't take it anymore?
I think it's a
Or do they
combination
just
of
snap?
both.
Like I went to
The
work
point that
happy
he's
that
making
day.
is a combination of both.
Yeah, because if you don't have anybody around you, like, you know, like that actually supports you and
Right.
understands you as a person, you're kind of screwed because, you know, you could be miles away from family. You may not even speak to family. They may not have no idea what's
Right.
going on.
Because a lot of times when things like that happen, people become recluses. They keep it inside.
Mhm.
Like I can personally, not from a bully standpoint, but I know people who've been molested. That's a form of bullying.
Mhm.
Sure it is.
You know what I'm saying? And
The most horrific forms of bullying.
And that's,
and out of that, they didn't even let it be known until decades later.
and then there's nothing you can do about
There's
it.
nothing you can do about it. It's none of their development
Mhm.
in terms of relation.
Brianna Stewart, that plays WNBA, I kind of followed her career because she grew up in Syracuse. And that's my favorite team. I was like, oh man, she should go there. She went to the mortal enemy, UConn. I'm like, why
Yeah,
did
that's
she stay
definitely
home?
the mortal enemy.
And she turned into a superstar. They went to the WNBA. Then one day she just came out with a letter, Brianna Stewart, saying that she's abused by a family member several times for years.
Yeah.
This guy was well trusted. The family would go to bed, and she'd be watching TV, and he'd come over, and she said that all she remembers is cigarette breath, and the family didn't know. They
Right.
didn't know. She held it in for years, and she just unloaded on an open letter. They got this guy, got him in jail, and she just, I don't know, man. It changes you, man. Like, she kept this in for years. Like, was that what fueled her to be such a good basketball player, or she was fighting those demons while she's playing basketball as her outlet, or?
There's a lot of people that's bound and gagged for real. So.
And that's manipulation. Don't do it. Don't tell. Daddy loves you. Here's $5. You wouldn't want to see somebody get in trouble, would you? You wouldn't have to, manipulation. I guess that is bullying.
Yeah, it's a form of it.
Yeah.
Physical and psychological.
What about Jonathan Martin? Played for the Miami Dolphins. 6'6", 280, 290.
What about him?
Man. Huh? Said he was getting bullied by Richie Incognito.
Oh,
Who
man.
they threw the book at. And then the other guy,
listen,
the twin.
My whole thing with that.
The Richie Incognito went and put himself in witness protection program because the guy posted a tweet with a gun and said enough is enough. It had some names on there. So Big Richie Incognito, who's a bully, went and put himself in police witness protection program. The other guy, the twin, his brother plays for Pittsburgh Steelers, was like, he didn't take it seriously. So they got rid of Richie Incognito and kind of threw the book at him. This guy went and got treatment. The girl on the team said that Jonathan Martin's an asshole because he's big baby, can't take it, didn't know, big mess. Said he was being bullied. That kind of ripped the Dolphins in half a little bit.
It did. I believe and feel
6'6", 280, saying he's being bullied. Benching 300-400 pounds, squat and all that.
So
Said he's being bullied.
I feel, me personally, there's more to that. There's more to that story. I think obviously he's been dealing with something for years
Obviously.
that he's not really coming out. That still didn't come out with.
Right.
It's just that
And that incident.
it raised eyebrows going through that situation with Rich Incognito. But if I was one of the fellow players, I'd have put with the Rich like, yo, chill out, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Richie Incognito, who is a bully. I'm not saying he bullied this kid Martin.
I'd have took my
He's a
helmet
bully.
and smashed
He's
his
had
face.
issues with his wife. He's been kicked off teams. He was out the league for a couple of years.
Rich Incognito with the Raiders now, right?
Yeah, getting chased by the police through town. Now he's back with the Raiders, but he's...
I don't think it matters what size you are. Cause,
Right.
Because
the fear is fear.
it's all mental.
Right.
Because, I could be, 200-pound full muscle, and I'd still probably worry about some of the kids we have. Just saying. But, I mean, in general, it's all mindset, really. Because it's how you think.
Oh, I 100% agree with you. You know why? Because I've
Fear
never...
is fear, bro.
I've never looked at something like I'm on top, looking down and like, what's he gonna do? What's she gonna? I'm always looking up at who's a potential problem, and then if I see a problem coming, I size, from being bullied when I was little, I size him up. Can I take him? Can I handle it? How's it gonna go down? If you're the bully, you don't think that. You don't worry about nothing.
You just go.
Yeah, so
Well,
I'm always sizing people up now. Like,
If you go in the mindset of a bully, if there's such a thing, because I'm not one, but
Speculations.
I can see what a bully is. A predator, but he's a predator for a person who,
Mentally.
well, I don't know, well, it could be that too, but I think, and they seek out someone who's kind, soft, you know what I'm saying? And because a bully at the end of the day is really the ultimate weak person. He's not gangster at all.
I had a problem with a kid in high school.
He's not gangster at all, but he has the ability. That's why continence is everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
He has the ability to put on a face that will make a person believe that he's like this monster. You know what I'm saying? And then some of them are probably cunning with it. So, that would be like the words for a person who's kind of like soft, because they're gonna own them, But if it's me, I'm gonna bash your face, bro. Like, cause
I'm upstate New York though. New York City's a different mindset. New York City, you have to be on guard 24. I mean, it's coming.
Slightly, yeah.
It's all day, walking.
Every
Taxi
day, bro.
cabs, cars out of control.
I didn't even realize how
drugs,
rude I used to be until I moved there.
Upstate New York is not
I used to
like
be
that.
on the metro like boom boom, get out of the way.
Yeah.
Because you know in New York that is the way you get on the train, like boom 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 boom.
Mhm.
But here, oh wait a minute, you gotta form a line. Hold up, sorry. Form a line and wait for people to get off and then get on. You know what I'm saying?
Agreement.
But,
Okay.
but I'm the one at the middle of the door, boom boom, and people looking at me, and I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I feel like a butthole, and they giving me that look like, hey, you know what I'm
Girl did
saying?
that to me on train down. I'm in the door with my big bag, and she's like, elbow me getting off. I want to throw the bag down and chase
Dude,
her.
and you at
I didn't realize I'm
42nd,
standing in
dude, and you at 34th Street on the D train, and you sitting down there waiting for him in the line, you're going to miss the train. Because everybody going to be like, boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
Then the doors going to close. Then you're going to realize, you like,
You
oh.
got bags and kids.
That's how we know who's from there or not. Just looking at them on the straight station platform. See, they be victims. Because you be on the platform, everybody already knows. Assume position, elbow, cock, everything ready. You see that person just sitting holding their bag like, you about to be a victim. You need to check your bag. You know what I'm saying? Your contents might be gone. You know what I'm saying? So back to the bully thing, when I was coming up in school, fortunately and unfortunately, you had these little what I call territorial cats in the school, and a few more bullies and stuff like that. But they try you, but you give them that look at the lunch counter like, yo, you're not getting my sandwich, bro. Like, you crazy? I'm hungry, bro. You know what I'm saying? I will fight you over a sandwich today. You know what I'm saying?
Back in the day, you either not tell the teacher or you tell the teacher, tell somebody, and they say, oh, they make you feel like it's not going to be a problem. At some point, you run into this person again, and then you look, and the person's they're not around. Now you can't ignore it. There's forms to fill out. There's protocol.
That's true.
And if something happens to somebody's victim and they done reported and told you, and you didn't follow your steps, you're in trouble.
Because you're going to be the first person.
That's true.
You're going to be the first person they say.
Y'all are mandated reporters, right?
Oh yeah, mandated reporter. It is your job for working in school. It is your job to report something you see it. Hearsay, rumor, whatever. You see something that doesn't look right,
brother.
It's your duty.
In New York City, that don't fly. Unfortunately, that is the thing to do. Care for each other, but
They don't.
that is considered. Oh man, you gotta go to another school now. Your days are numbered.
Those problems don't go away.
If in New York City schools, at least when I was coming up, and I'm sure it's probably like that to this day, junior high and high school, and there's a bully situations going on, and you report that, and they get found out that you did,
right?
Yeah, you gonna hear about that dude went to another school.
Yeah,
cause
that's horrible. That's another.
Because
jail.
This might escalate to a whole nother thing now.
You're gonna get bullied in school, in jail, and you better keep your mouth shut.
If you're that school, I guess what they'll call that a school snitch. Even though he's in the right, because he's trying to protect the next person, but he gonna have to go to another school because
word gets out.
Yeah, where I grew up at anyway. Yeah, he or she. It's over. It's over. It's that ignorant. You know what I'm saying? It's over.
And it still is.
They
That's the code.
They getting dealt with.
That's the code of the
They
street,
getting
which
dealt
is real,
with.
but it's bullshit.
That's probably why bullies live to this day, because in certain outlets, if you do that, you're marked, and in some circles you might get killed. You know what I'm saying? So
that's why we have bullies in the older years too, because they've never been stopped and nobody's ever pressed the issue with them.
Oh,
so
yeah,
now they're here.
kids. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, you mean when they get older?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I thought you meant as adults.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's.
What's interesting? Some victims become cops.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we're gonna talk about that. Now you guys hit the nail on the head.
And that's dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna talk about that in 2 more segments. Listen, I got into it with this kid. I'll tell you off camera later. In high school, I consider him a bully. But me and him had a showdown, 11th and 12th grade. We scrapped for about 15, 20 minutes. I got the best of him. But you get tired. Nobody broke us up. It turned into a clinch. like a wrestling match.
Yeah.
My back was fucked up for about 3-4 days after that. But I didn't like him, and my friend's like, yeah, you got him, you beat him. And your adrenaline's so pumping if you're not a fighter. I was like, I did? I was like, yeah, I did. And come to find out, like 25 years later, my pop and him became good friends. My pops told me that he had a rough life coming up, and the kid's father used to beat the shit out of him for nothing.
Oh wow.
I said, that explains a lot. That explains
And that's
a
where
whole
most of it comes from, too.
I didn't know
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
How could I know
Well,
that?
I meant, like, nowadays.
He was
Yeah.
always
Everything
scuffed
still.
up and scratched. I just thought he was a rough kid, like scratching his face on tree branches, or he was getting fucked up at home
Yeah.
by his dad.
And
Gotta
that's still
go-
happening today.
I know it is. That man, we gotta go to break. We can spend a whole freaking hour on that. We gotta move on though. Yeah, that's a tough one, man. Let's go to break, and we're gonna come back and go back to that school contingency playing active shooter thing for a minute. Enigma code DC.
From the mentality of the one who's getting bullied, you can start off just as strong as a bull, but you get bullied long enough,
Yeah, it's a wrap.
fucks up your head, man.
Yeah. It's a wrap.
If you're the bully or if you get bullied.
If you're the one getting bullied, you start off as strong as you could be, big. After years of getting bullied, fucks with your head, and then all of a sudden you're like, maybe it's true, maybe I'm,
Yeah. Yeah, it's true.
And there's good people in jail that have just snapped. I couldn't take it anymore.
Yep.
You see that thing on the news about the guy, like they found a semi-truck in England with like 39 dead bodies in it.
When was this?
It was like on Facebook this morning and this evening.
I missed that one.
Huh?
From that country or another country?
Yeah, from England I think, but I don't know. Let me look it up.
I think I do remember something about
Like
England.
supposed to go to the morgue and somebody was stealing them or
Oh, this is
disappearing?
semi-truck.
Like,
Like a
he was
serial killer?
hiding away bodies.
You should shoot and play, y'all.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to New York speaking of New York, I'm going Saturday, man, for my birthday,
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Chop it up up there?
Huh?
They chop it up up there?
Yeah, well, my mama's birthday was yesterday, so
Happy early birthday.
thank you. So they've been like, man, you always crying down there, you can come see your family. I'm like, I come see y'all every other month since 2001 since I've been living it. But yeah, I'm gonna go, sit and chill with them and stuff. Catch up to some sandbox buddies and stuff like that. One of them is just coming home actually. So, man, 20-something years is a long time. I asked him, I said, you watching the soap right before we hang out?
Wow. We are back.
Oh,
Enigma code
man.
DC in the Wolf's Den. Let's switch gears and go back to, we touched on this last week. It's never going to be enough. Let's talk about the school shootings. Not the school shootings, the emergency contingency plan for an active shooter being on your property. You know how I feel about this. There's holes everywhere in the school. One resource officer is not enough. Having the front door locked is not enough because you can break through it. You can get through a window. You can come through the basement. The guy at my old school in 2016 they caught a stranger in a uniform roaming around the basement, acting like he was an HVAC guy. What the hell? What? And the guy, they didn't know how to detain him. He lied and said something. And while they went checking, he just slipped out the door. He didn't even run. Just slipped out the door and got in his vehicle. Why would a stranger who's not with a company be in a school basement before school starts on a school day?
Sleeping. Sleeping.
Yeah.
I pray that that's all it was.
Sleeping,
I mean,
He had a uniform on though.
he knows how to do it.
playing it off.
Yeah.
That would put me at ease if that was the case. But if he was up to no good, like I said, my kids and other kids.
How do you determine that?
There's not
I'm
enough
with him.
security.
How do you determine that?
Exactly. There's
But
not
the
enough
problem
security to keep kids safe.
Yeah, the problem is it could go either way. So.
Right.
You have to
That would-
assume that they're all
I would feel
dangerous.
good if he was just a vagrant.
Yes.
But then you gotta worry if he's a pervert or not. But if he was just a vagrant,
Well, that
trying to
ties into
sleep
what
at
she
night,
was just saying.
get out in the
You gotta,
daytime, I would
unfortunately, you
feel
gotta
better.
assume that You gotta assume the worst.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what she's saying.
You gotta be proactive.
And you gotta assume the worst, and you don't. I mean, and then that's a whole nother politics. Right?
Elementary schools have one officer that rotates 2 or 3 schools. That's terrible. And why do we have to wait for something to happen to get these schools loaded? High school has one, maybe 2 officers. There's still not enough time for them to get to one end of campus to the other. If something pops off here, and most of them are out of shape, they're not running. They're going to get out to their car and then drive over. By then you're.
Okay.
I mean, you know.
All right, coming.
How do we keep these schools safe?
You know what's funny? Oh no, it's not funny. But, and I'm gonna be blatantly honest here. When me and associates that I know and how we grew up, I'm being honest. We look at this like, man, that's every day be where we from. You know what I'm saying? So we're used to like issues and stuff like, and even stuff on that level in schools where we from. So when we hear about these certain incidences, we're like, the cause for this is because this is a violent society. It's a violent society, bro. In America, it is a violent society, unfortunately.
My kids in our school, we watched
It's
that.
a very violent society. It embellishes violence. It does.
We were looking at kids in Syria.
And that's the problem.
Kids in Syria grow up in war-torn areas. They grow up in that. Stepping over mines and
I feel you.
ducking and dodging, you know.
I watch BBC. You know what I'm saying? BBC is really news to me. Not Channel 5, Channel 9, and Channel 2. That ain't real news. Real news is really BBC to me. But here we live a form of that too, just in a different fashion. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's even increasing. Mass shootings is increasing here.
What do you do for them? What do you do?
I don't have an answer for that.
I talked in the last episode, you weren't here. They talked about arming the teachers. They had something called
That's
the Utah
crazy.
gun permit.
Actually, there's some places that have already done it.
But I'm going to raise my hand to volunteer for that. But why arm me if I'm trying to fight off a gunman and then I come out when the police come? They don't know who I am and then I get shot. Trying to do the right thing. Do I have to put on a big orange vest or something, then have my gun? And then is the school going to say, we got a guy on the inside, he's one of ours? You know, people come in, they don't know what the situation is, and you know.
I feel like as a society, we constantly trying to revise ways to handle the results of the corruption that we create in the first place.
Well, that's basically.
I hope I'm not getting too deep or anything, but
no, that's.
I mean, we're creating the corruption, and then we're trying to devise ways to defend against the corruption and the spirit it brings on society as a whole.
That's true.
So I'm like, it's just going to continue unless we get to the root of the real issue, bro.
Which is what?
We need to change the way society is getting further.
No, you're looking at the overall big psychological. I'm talking about.
But that's affecting
this is a school building right here.
That is affecting what these people do.
I agree with you, but I need today, not 5-10 year contingency plan. What do we do today to protect this school to make me feel at ease? Because like I told you, I don't know what I told you. I have a knot in my stomach.
I'm gonna
all
answer
day
your
while
question.
my kids are at school. Hope no crazy person walks by.
I'm gonna answer your question.
It doesn't happen at my kid's school. You don't want it to happen at any school.
I'm gonna answer your question.
Because kids are gonna freeze. We don't grow up on the side where you hear bullets and everybody ducks. There's gonna be kids just.
I'm gonna answer your question.
Just stand
you ready?
Go ahead.
I have the answer.
Go ahead.
And they have the money. One thing.
I know they have the money.
So get a privatized security firm to each one of these schools.
That works for me. That works for me.
Do that.
That works for me.
But arming teachers is bananas. First of all, you know what they need to arm teachers with? This is a whole sidebar. Arm teachers with better salaries.
Yeah.
Do that. You know what I'm saying?
Then the kids would learn.
The two highest paid salaries should be teachers and people who people who work with
you hear that, man?
with underprivileged or wild youths. Those are should be the two highest paid jobs.
Scout, that's both of them.
You know why?
Basically.
You know why? Because they control the development of your damn kid.
But back to security, you keep getting off topic. I'm trying to get you right back on topic today.
Right.
How do we
privatize security cops
that because
at each school.
my friend who's a cop, when I told him they were going to arm the teachers that wanted to be armed and wanted to go to the train, he said that was a terrible idea.
Stupid.
And I said, why? He said police have to go through, if they pass everything with flying colors, they have to go through a psychological profile before they're allowed to carry the gun.
Yeah.
He said teachers would need
I
the
don't
same
really
damn
believe.
thing.
I don't believe that. Though.
I said, what? He said some good
They
guys
actually
got
do.
kicked
They
off
go
the
through
force
psychological
or
profile.
didn't
Yeah,
make it to
they
see
do.
if they're going to...
So how do people who are prejudiced end up cops?
Next segment.
Okay.
Next
Because
segment.
that questions that
Next segment.
theory.
Next segment.
But privatized.
That works for me.
Law
I guess they'd be a
enforcement
little
for
bit
school.
cheaper, and you could have more than one. You know, I don't know if it was PG County or Mecklenburg County, North Carolina, where I used to work. One of them is sitting on over $100 million surplus, and they don't touch it. It's either PG
Dude,
or Mecklenburg.
guy who
All
hauls
they do
trash
is
make
the
more
new
money than a
taxes
teacher.
every year. That's the money that gets used for the budget, the taxes and all that for that year.
Hey.
They don't never dip into that.
A
Why
guy
can't
who
you dip into
hauls
that?
trash makes more than a teacher. Just let that marinate for me.
Yeah, I believe.
Now
Why don't they dip into that
teachers don't
savings?
necessarily have to have guns. There are other weapons that y'all can be armed with.
Well, then the other thing is, too, teachers are under
I
no
like her.
obligation to save your class.
I like her.
I would hope everybody would. Fiery Phoenix, our producer.
Oh,
Fiery
man.
Phoenix, let's give it up for him.
I like
What'd you
her.
say? Say that again?
Y'all don't have to have guns. You can be armed with other stuff too.
Such as?
There are stun guns. There's guns that shoot the rubber bullets. There's
The beanbags.
Yeah, the
pepper
beanbags.
balls.
I don't
there's
want
the
that.
I love
If I hear
I
pop,
gotta
pop, pop,
say
and
it.
screaming, I
I
want
love
that.
it when they fire that old. Shoot you with some voltage there. That's something that's gonna stop somebody.
That's close proximity, but if Johnny's shooting
Not
around the
necessarily.
corner and you're there and you can see him and he doesn't see you, you don't have a weapon, you have something, a pea shooter.
Anything.
What do they say, never bring a knife to a gunfight? Are you going to run around the corner, rush him, and hope you can get him with the electric zapper before he turns and unloads on you? I don't know if I'm going to do
I'd
that.
rather have the beanbag or the pepper bomb.
You're going to go after the
The
shooter?
pepper
with-
bomb, yes.
They have a weapon and you don't? You're going to go
Yeah.
after them?
No,
with
That's
a
I
knife?
gonna
have a
stun
weapon.
them. That's gonna knock them back.
If you
That's gonna
take-
give you a minute.
Either the rubber pellets or the rubber pellets is a slug, like an actual slug, full slug,
It's
but
big.
it's huge rubber
It's
piece.
huge.
And then you also have the beanbag shooter, which is just a giant beanbag shooter. I would prefer what is like a normal rifle, but it shoots like pepper bombs, either CO2 gas, CO gas, or pepper spray gas and stuff like that.
Something that's gonna stop them.
Yeah.
And they're
And what I would do
disorient them.
is if you could load it a certain way, I've learned that you use dry first, then wet. Because if you can get a couple of shots off right away, and you use dry first, they're gonna breathe it in. You shoot a wet 1 second, it's gonna activate that dry that they've already breathed in, and it's gonna drop them.
Here's the thing. What you're saying, better than nothing, yes. You got one shot with that, though, and you better be damn lucky.
I don't know. That's what you
And
train.
most times, some of these kids are wearing body armor stuff, so that's gonna
Yeah.
ping, and then they're gonna turn around and be really mad,
Well,
and they'll
not
come
the
a
pepper.
semi off. Out of, what are you gonna do?
Well, the pepper would knock them on the floor.
Would you have a weapon? If you could have a weapon, would you use a weapon? If you could be trained to have one,
Yeah.
you would. I already know you would.
I would.
I've been in the military. I've been a corrections officer. And now I work in a school
I'd
center.
want that weapon, but that's
Oh,
just
wow.
like that's the bullshit.
So I
You've
mean,
seen a lot.
yeah.
Listen
so,
to the hypocrisy of this. The bus drivers and bus aides are not under any obligation to break up fights on the bus.
that's
A
true.
lot of these bus fights are assaults.
They just stop.
One wanted to fight and one was terrorized. I saw the
When
big
you say
6'6",
when you say bus
250-pound
fights-
bus aide who I don't want to break him up. You don't have to break it up and touch him, worry about assault charge. All you gotta do is stand in between them and get your big ass hands up like this.
You talking about a regular school bus?
Yeah, they got bus aides and bus. They are not
See, I've never
obligated to
seen.
pull over and call the police.
This is the first state.
Kids are that bad now.
So
we
they're
have
still
bus
fighting?
aids.
Yeah.
This is
Uh-huh.
the first
Yes.
state that I've seen that
Yes.
actually uses bus aids. This
Yeah,
is-
they can't.
So
touch
let me
it.
get
No,
this
I know,
straight.
I'm
You got
just
the
saying.
driver of the bus, and you got a person in the back
Yes.
as an aide.
Yes.
We had them
And
back
neither
where
one
I
of them
lived
touches
too.
the kids. If there's
See,
a
I've
fight,
never
they
seen
pull
that
over, call
before
the
until I
police.
moved here.
All you
it's
gotta do is
new to
stand up
me.
and
We
go
had
like
them.
this.
How much is the bus aide getting paid?
No,
Sad
not to
part
live
is
off,
the
but that's
bus
a nice
driver when I
part-time
was
job.
growing up would just get up and beat your ass.
That's a great part-time.
Yeah, that's why I'm asking. I'm like, how much they getting paid? They have after 4 o'clock jobs.
And
I
if
would
you
say-
have a special ed child who's on it or somebody who's troubled, they have to have an aide on the bus.
Yeah.
They have to.
Oh wow.
Like our kids have to have aids on the buses, but they can't do anything.
But how hard is it to just stand up between the two combatants, take the one, gently push them away? And
Maybe it depends on where the school is.
You call the cops. They're hitting them.
No.
You're
That
hitting
same
them.
that same
Yeah, we
My
need
kids.
police
that
there.
same
They're
position
still
can
hitting
leave you
them.
open for somebody to stab you in your
Put it
ribs.
this way: my kid, who's in 2nd grade, the bus aide is afraid of him. Now, how
Wow.
does that work?
But
You know the
okay,
population they work
question:
No, I know.
if
but
the aide,
still.
if the bus aide does that, do then they get in trouble for putting their hands on them?
That's no, because it's
Y'all,
not
your
actual
hands
physical.
are tied.
It's not actual like physically
You're blocking.
stopping them. It's sort of like a kind of in the middle
Because
position.
I personally think that all y'all teachers should be armed, but for those who disagree, just saying there's got to be other ways around that. And if y'all are trying to block, are you going to get in trouble for blocking?
I think blocking is different because if you're just sitting there trying to stop them from coming at each other, you're not actually,
Grabbing
grabbing the kids or anything. I mean, yeah, if they're on each other, I don't care what they say, pull them off.
Yeah.
There ain't no way somebody logically is gonna sit there and let 2 kids beat the shit out of each other.
True.
I mean, at least they shouldn't.
Sadly, there are.
I know. That's why we got World Star and all that stupid video stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yo, we rolling. We doing good. We're
Yeah.
going to stop on that one. We're going
41,
to take,
yep.
where we at?
4-1.
41. Hey, we're on task. We're going to take a break and we are going to come on back and we got a real serious topic. We're going to hit you with Enigma Code DC. Coming back in 2 minutes.
Man, I didn't know he was getting so deep tonight.
Gotta get deep once in a while.
I see.
Can't all be fun and games.
Switch your gears a little bit.
I
Switch
see.
your
I
gears
was
a little
like-
bit.
Can't all be
Glad
fun
I
and
dressed
games.
appropriate. I'm glad I didn't change my clothes from work. I said, man. I was like, man, we all serious.
Real world topic.
Real world topics. I feel we're adulting tonight. Yeah. But nah, y'all think I'm joking. I'm looking to this bus aid thing on the side. I work from 7:30 to 4. I work at the job from 7:30 to 4. I'm
You
looking
gotta
at
pay
the bus
$10 an hour. It's gotta pay 10. 10 or 12? It's gotta.
I think it depends on the area, the school, the students.
Cause I can lift on the side. You know that, right?
We had it up
That's really good.
up there.
I've never had that before. That's pretty
What is it? Is
good.
that
Ginger ale and apple.
is it apple? Is it the Jack Apple or the instant apple?
Oh, is it that Tennessee Jack
Oh, the
Apple?
Spear, I mean the Spear Apple. Yeah, I know that's your new
Ginger
favorite.
ale and smear.
That's my new thing.
I'm not. I had a story with that Tennessee Jack. I'll tell y'all at another time.
That was
I
good.
can't have none of that. I had a interesting.
I say you have to try the one I have.
I was about to get aggressive
Woo!
one
What
night
did you
off
have?
that. I said, nah, this ain't for
Oh,
me
from
right
last week?
From the 2 weeks
that last
ago.
week or 2
Yeah.
weeks ago?
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago?
Oh, that was
I
smooth.
tell you, if I brought my Jack tonight, you'd have to try it.
It was what was it?
Sinatra Select.
A Sinatra
$140
exclusive.
bottle.
I didn't try
here.
that.
Oh wow,
Super.
Hey.
that sound like one glass. I'll be, you know what?
Actually, no. It's smooth.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't try that night
Really?
either.
I'll have to bring it back for you then.
You ain't more that ginger ale?
Yeah, it's in there.
Oh, sir. Yeah. Yo, next time I'm gonna come bring some Hennessy or something.
You always be a friend of mine.
I got a good Hennessy.
Yeah, we still want to hear that story.
See,
I'm
I've
hooked
never
on
had
the
it.
Hennessy.
I've never had Hennessy yet.
Really?
Yeah.
For real?
Yeah.
I'm hooked on it now. So.
What? Seriously?
First time I had Scott was here.
I never had it either. Till just a couple weeks ago.
Oh yeah, Hennessy will lift you up.
Hey, we got a drink though. Hennessy and the Taylor Port. Remember that in a little bottle?
Yeah, Hennessy will lift you up.
That's what I'm drinking right now.
Yeah, Hennessy will definitely lift you up. For sure.
See, I can't drink beer.
Oh,
Yeah,
I hate
the
beer.
flavor. The,
Not even a Heineken?
I don't know. The taste of the hops is what throws me off, really. Like,
I can't believe you didn't bring it. I know you're a Heineken guy.
Huh?
I know you're a Heineken guy. I haven't seen you with that yet.
I said, I used to be able to drink, like,
I pop one and chew my spirit before I'm about to go do this.
I used to be able to drink Corona,
Okay.
but I can't drink that anymore. It tastes like piss.
I don't like the taste of any beer
Yeah, no.
at all.
I've been trying different things. I like ales,
Okay.
but depends on the ale. No, I
5.
don't. Surprisingly. I love my liquor.
What? That's the thing. That's the thing. And we'll cling to that. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We are back. Enigma Code DC. We are rocking and rolling tonight. Good people. Got my co-host, Mr. Magnus Burnside. And my man LG. LG said he didn't know tonight was going to be serious like that. We change up a little bit. We like to have fun, but we like to also discuss relevant issues that you will not find on that other radio station, Chipped Radio, who I am no longer affiliated with. We're doing our own thing over here.
Yes, sir.
Code DC. Let's pay some bills real quick. Forgot to shout out last week. Cloud9 Vodka. My boy Drew and the guys. Brewed in Arizona. Distilled 6 times. Made from corn. The finest of corn.
I don't think I've had it.
Made from wonderful Arizona mountain water. Gluten free. If you like that other vodka that starts with a T, you will love Cloud9 Vodka. That's what we drink. All right. So, next segment. Score still 2-2, if I'm not mistaken, in the game. Yes, it is 2-2. 2-2.
I was so hoping my Yankees would have won. Man.
Me too. That would have been epic. That's what the crowd wanted to
The
see.
lounges and bars here would have been crazy.
It would have been off the
Because so many
chain.
New Yorkers live here as well.
Yeah. But I'm rooting for the Nats for this time only, and I'm very happy for them.
I'm rooting for them too.
I hope
Of
they
course,
win.
I don't want the Astros to win.
Friday,
They
Saturday,
beat my
Sunday, I
Yankees.
want to go up there and just hang out.
That's why I was gonna miss that because you know I'm going to New York and I'm like, man, lift. Whoo, I'd be doing a killing this weekend.
I like
Just to feel the
yeah, 'cause you can go
experience.
anywhere with that, can't you?
Oh, yeah, but I'm not gonna do it up there because you know I'm over there chilling with the family. Yeah, I'm taking the bus there. I ain't even driving.
Vacation.
Yeah, I'm not even driving. I'm taking the bus up there.
Let's get into our next one. We are keeping it kind of serious tonight. Let's talk about the white officers in these shootings and the black motorists. Do not want to talk about opinions because everybody has their own, you know, and you're entitled to whatever opinion you are.
It's like an asshole.
Right. Everybody's got one. Me personally, this is the way I was raised. There are good apples and bad apples. One white person that does something wrong does not kill the whole white race. One black person that does something wrong does not destroy the whole black race. But that's how some people think. But I wasn't raised that way. My favorite auntie in the world in upstate New York is 100% white. I love her to death. She's been in my life since I remember she bought me a shirt in the 1st grade. She's white. I have relatives that are white. It's not a big deal. The way I look at things, and other people do not, I'm talking about me, there's good apples and bad apples in every race. One bad apple does not kill it for the whole race. In every race, there's good apples and bad apples. That being said, let's talk about not personal feeling, but what is the perception? You guys all know how you feel the perception is that America views all these shootings that just happen to be black motorists, white officers. What do you think? How do you think America views it? America's spin on it.
First of all, it's a tough question.
Yes,
You're
it is.
asking me to generalize how
Yes.
Other people.
how
Yes.
other people
Yes.
are viewing this.
Yes.
thing. So I think what's missing here goes back to what I've been saying on all sorts of platforms. First of all, it's unfortunate, and I'm not gonna lie. Me personally, especially driving Lyft, even when I go through northern parts of Virginia, I actually say on the ride, please let nothing happen. You get stopped for me to BS, because one thing I can't control, no one can, and this is regardless to what ethnicity or demographic a human is labeled and come from. It's hard to defend against that, and here's why. Because I have a couple friends of mine who are cops, right? So I'm well aware of the psychological exam profile test. But that psychological exam obviously is telling on itself because it cannot tell you when a person has prejudices deeply rooted from what they were taught. Because I tell this even to my friends who are mostly black, right? So I tell them all the time, I said, people who impose their will on another is something they were taught, right? People are not born like that. So, unfortunately, the perception is, from one demographic who's black, they view it as, oh, see, this is how it's always been. But what's interesting and what's ironic is that there's also white people who look at that as wrong, right? Because most people in society are actually good people, to be honest with you. Mm-hmm. It's just there's the few assholes that get all the headlines, right? So it's bigger than just pulling some brother over at the stop on the traffic stop. It's bigger than that. We have to deal with this sad. We have to deal with race, bro. Like, it's always going to be hard to defend against that because, like, for example, that's all Kaepernick was trying to get through. Kaepernick does not sit up. He was not kneeling because he wanted to disrespect the military, bro.
Let me switch gears for a half a second. Then I want to get right back because you like to pull people off task. You itching to say something. Good. Let me get off task for a half a second.
Good.
So Kaepernick, yes, is a lot of confusion. Kaepernick sat down to protest
those incidences.
Shootings. But what turned in for the whole country is he's a turncoat sellout loser because he didn't protest the flag. He protested. He made his stance by not.
Right. So I'm showing you there's a demographic in America who obviously wants to ignore what's going on with those shootings. That's where I'm trying to get.
I have several white friends who I love, and I have several black friends who I love who are Jehovah's Witnesses. And going back to kindergarten, they did not stand and pledge the flag.
Yeah.
How come they don't get any shade or hate?
Good question.
The military guys hate, and the hardcore Americans, they hate Kaepernick because he made this thing. What about the Jehovah's Witnesses? They don't do the flag. They're citizens. We're friends with them. We love them.
See, the worst part is, though, throughout the years, several military and other civilians even have kneeled for that. Not even for what he did, but in general. Have kneeled. And it's just now because it was, a major sporting thing. That it really,
is that what, right, that's what I'm
That's
right.
what it is. It's really, that's what it came up to be, is he's famous, let's use him.
Because does he want to renounce his citizenship? I don't think
that
so.
maybe.
With Jehovah's, they live it every day. They do it every day. I don't have an issue with Kaepernick standing up for something. I just think he chose the wrong place to do it.
Some say he did, some say he did not.
It was his job. He was there to do a job.
Yes.
He should have done his job. I don't bring my stuff to work. I don't preach my stuff at work. That's my job.
And I used to think that way too, but I realized something. When you're making a stance, it's never something that's comfortable.
Mm-hmm. No, but I think there is a proper place to do it.
That's just the thing. I agree. That's just the thing. When it comes to stances and making a
do it. Get out there.
It's never gonna be now. It's like how you said. You're right. Well, we chose this wrong path. Well, actually, that's what making a stance is. Doing the unthinkable which was not at the wrong time and not under the right circumstances or maybe platform.
Yeah, there's no right circumstance, but I think there's also so do a rally, start something, get a protest going.
But when you're making a stance,
but not while you're on the job and you're being paid by millions of people to play a game.
But you're right to me and you. But when you're making a stance, that's
where his frame of mind
is. That's what happens.
That might have also been the only point in time he thought he could do it.
Yeah, that's true.
Because there's, he made.
I mean, he still got paid at the end of the day.
He's got
But,
something,
But it destroyed
Yeah,
his
but like
career
he's
too.
blackballed, and can he go out to eat? Like, can he order food and not worry if it's getting spent?
Well, he's richer than all of us in this room still.
Yeah, but I mean, what he's got and what he made a little bit, and what he's lost.
Well, I guess that's what. There's no such thing as making a stance and it's comfortable. Sacrifice is sacrifice. You know what I'm saying? Again.
Do you think he thought out all the repercussions before he did it?
I don't know. It's hard for me to answer.
He figured everybody would jump on board and be like, "Yeah."
I don't know.
Because
I don't
unfortunately, a lot of us, when we do stand up for something, we don't consider the
I
repercussions.
Eric Reed jumped on
That's
board with
that's
him.
a great question.
Eric Reed is still playing.
I just
football.
don't know how to.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's always hard for me to ever get inside of a person's mind, and so this goes back to with the cops. Like I posted on Facebook. This was aggression like crazy. The guy, okay, he had his tents. I get it. He was stupid. First of all, dude, come on, you know you can't have dog tents. Ain't nowhere now in America they allow you with the other than 3/4. You go past that, they stop it. But you know what the lady officer did? She pointed the gun at his head, bro.
is that the one where she walked in the wrong place?
Nah,
No, that was in the house.
she pointed.
Right.
That was one of
She
the.
walked into
That was Gaia. That's
somebody's
different.
else
No, that was
She was
different.
she was on the wrong.
That's a
road.
whole nother thing.
Yeah.
But
Let's talk about the motorist.
right.
Sorry.
This is with the motorist.
No, that's a big
And
one.
she
though.
pointed the gun at his head. And I was like, yo, he's like this. What are you doing? So what I realized from looking at that, like how remember we were talking about the development thing in the mind? I think at home, when you're taught a certain thing, regardless of your development in life, you still carry these prejudices in your mind. And so the real question is, how does law enforcement can identify and deal with that? And unfortunately, I don't think you can, because a person can hide that.
Till it happens.
So that happens.
How?
So
How do you hide that? You have to take the psychological profile and all these other tests.
Have you ever took
How do
one?
you hide that?
How do you, okay, look.
easy.
Right. You
Scenarios, yeah.
It's basically just questions.
Yeah.
It's kind of like what you were saying last week when you were being prepared for the school drills. Until it happens, you don't know. You can practice how you're going to react.
So you're saying you can
You
say
can
anything?
think one way and do something
completely different.
Because, you could take the quiz and basically it would say something like, oh, if you're put in this position, is this the right thing, or is this the right thing, or is this the right thing to do? And you can put the actual right thing to do, and then when it comes down to it, you're not in that mindset of a test anymore. You're in the position, and your mind's wherever it's going to be.
My opinion on this, and remember I didn't want to get into opinions, I want to stick to how does America perceive. My opinion on this is...
But that's still a opinion, because you asking us how do we think, how...
I know.
If we take it by how Americans see,
I know.
then I can easily say...
I gotta put my opinion
based on that,
against-
I can easily say, I mean to cut you off, because this is deep. I can easily say, well then America doesn't give a crap.
No.
You know why? Why I say that? Because when people are taking stance against it, they will look based on me, and that's if we go by meeting. They will say, oh well, this is for another reason. This is disrespecting this. That.
Yeah.
No, we talking about what's going on.
That's true.
So they don't want to deal with that. That's the impression I get,
See,
My opinion on this is there's good and bad apples.
and that's unfair because
it's not
I
a
know
whole race of dirty cops, and it's not a whole race of questionable black suspects. It's good, and I mean, pulling somebody over on the road is a shitty job.
Listen,
It's
so
hard, and
listen,
you let
dude.
your guard down, something could happen, but some of these guys I feel are trigger happy, and it's not a black and white thing, it's an individual basis.
Have you
But if
seen...
you look at studies, it's coming
I
that
think
there's a
also
lot of
depends.
white guys doing the shooting, and a lot of black guys
All
getting
right, I
shot.
got a question
But
for you.
go ahead, then I gotta go back to what he said, because you said something good earlier.
Now you've seen the videos. Now you've got the motorists who, when they get pulled over, they're immediately they could be guilty as
Herky-jerky,
hell.
something, nervous,
Yeah,
doing something. Yeah.
but they also are like, you're just pulling me over because I'm black. They're egging it on. They're egging the situation on sometimes, I think.
Yep. I taught my two old
But
boys.
you know what? Okay, I could, because I've been pulled over for BS reasons, and the one that's going viral now. This is insane. The guy who pulled, and this is why brothers think this way. They pulled the guy over in an air freshener in the car.
They can do that.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
What?
Cool.
Hanging in the window.
Give me some background.
Ready? No, I'm about
Can't
to tell
have
you
anything
now.
hanging in the
Check
window
this out.
anymore.
It's hanging in the window. Check this out. I'm about to go right where you just said and why we think this way. So, all right, cool. The brother's like, oh, okay, that's my air freshener. So he says, you know what the cop asked him? Hey, you got instead of dealing with the air freshener, he used that as a gateway to ask
And they do.
his hidden agenda.
Just
he said,
like he
"Do
said,
you have
there's
guns
good
in
eggs
here?"
and bad eggs.
He says, listen, you could just tell me if you smoke marijuana. You know, you just let me know. What does that got to do with the air freshener?
That's
So-
why there's good cops and bad cops
So-
too.
So
That was a
unfortunately,
segue for this next-
in our minds, even though me, I'm older, one, and two, I also can rationalize with certain things. But I'm not gonna lie to you. Most of my buddies back in the Bronx, they cringe when they come around. They're like, oh, God. You know what I'm saying? And not because they're guilty, it's because we're like, they're gonna try to find something for any reason. Now, I graduated from a college near the Hamptons in New York. And I got some friends on that level too. I've seen them get away with murder. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's why we think that way, because we're like, well, wait a minute. If it's another demographic, you guys ignore it. You know what I'm saying? But then if it's us, then you got an issue. And the funny thing is, if we're doing wrong, you're right. But you turn your eye if depending on who it is. So that just throws us off. And it's caused us to create that mindset to think that. Now, don't get me wrong. You have a few that be guilty as hell. You know what I'm saying? But I'm like, most are not. You know what I mean? And so it's like, if that particular officer has these preconditions in his or her mind, that guy in the car got no chance. You know what I'm saying? Because they already have these preconditioned things that they've been hearing at their parents' kitchen table as kids. That whole stuff is taught at home. You know what I'm saying? So that psychological profile that you talk about, that psychological profile is not going to let you know. Obviously, it's not going to either it's not going to let you know the mindset or the prejudice of a human being that's in front of them, or they're ignoring it. One or the other.
Give me your take. Good point.
So I have a couple of things actually. For one, I'll tell you the exact thing why cops can stop you with air fresheners.
It's okay.
Now,
Cool.
I had a class in college where it was a criminology class. And my teacher used to be a lawyer, and then he was a cop and all sorts of stuff. He's telling us that it doesn't matter if you have anything at all dangling off of your rearview mirror. It is cause to stop you because it is.
No, it is.
It's because it's
Are
impeding
you
your
really
vision.
gonna write a ticket for that?
They could
Yep.
if they're really.
They could. Most don't, but they do have the right to stop you. Like, I have absolutely no problem with that part because they're in the right. Because I even posted it, and my buddy, I have a couple buddies who are cops, and they put in the comments. They said, "Well, LG, you know they can do that." I said, "Yeah, I'm with all that.
Yeah.
I understand it. I know with the ones in my car, in the Lyft car, well, they don't stop me. They know I'm Lyft, right? They already read the tags and know, everything's legit with this guy, because they know I would not. I'm driving. Not only am I driving for Lyft, I'm driving Lyft's car.
Also, when they look you up, they see your clearances.
Right. So they know what's up. You know what I'm saying? They know what's up. But what I'm saying is that I have no problem with that part.
Yeah.
If something is within law, it's within law.
Yeah.
Later, for my feelings as an African American, it's within law, bro. But my thing is, what does the air freshener have to do with you? And then I tell you, I'm not high. I'm willing to take any breath. The guy was saying, I'm willing to take any breathalyzer test. Anything you want me to do, I'm willing to do that. He still kept asking him, you sure you don't have no marijuana? It's okay if you have joints or something in the car. So that means your mindset is, all brothers you think smoke weed. Even the hip-hop videos on BET got you convinced, or this is something that you've been taught and believed in since you were young. Social engineering.
Let's get back to the shootings. I have several family members that are in law enforcement. I got family members who are in the military who are high up. doing military things in law enforcement. I have a brother who's a New York State trooper. You know, they come home, you hear all that. You know, you hear both sides of the fence.
Brother, I got
It's a lot
connections
of
to
shootings.
cops, bro.
And a lot. You said something earlier. You said these guys were wimpy and weak in high school and bullied and. I wonder in the back of my head, is there truth to that? Because they weren't the star athletes, they weren't the guys.
Maybe they were picked on.
They were the second ones that
couldn't get a girl.
They peaked after high school. They didn't peak in high school.
So you know that backed up testosterone. Some of these guys are probably going to go cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
You know, now they got swag a little bit. They were nobodies in high school.
And we forgot this part too. Tell the truth. I know she said, but be men right now. Some dudes weren't able never to get none coming up, so they got the backed up testosterone.
They peaked.
They mad at the world.
Yeah.
It's all loaded in their thighs, and they mad at everybody.
Hey, that could be, now that part, there could be truth to that. I wonder in the back of my mind if there's a.
Y'all know I'm telling the truth.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say
they mad at everybody.
Back to the cops themselves. There's been I've talked to other people that. You know, are friends of mine that are black, stuff like that, talking about when other black cops pull them over, they've actually told them that they have to be harder on their own kind because of white cops sometimes.
We've seen that on Higher Learning, on Boys in the Hood. Yeah, the cop was vicious, black. He was mean and nasty, like he had a chip on his shoulder.
That was weird to me. That whole scene was weird. Every time I see it,
I hate that scene.
I was like, this ain't even true right here. Like
the problem is media. Media changes
social engineering,
everything.
Man. Yeah, man.
For better or for worse?
Worse.
For worse.
You said
worse.
Both. Wait, you said worse?
Worse.
Why?
She's
right.
I'd say she's right. Worse than
Fiery Phoenix weighs in, folks. Why?
Worse. Because the media, I think, perpetuates the negative to get things going.
Yep.
Media
makes a bigger story.
They want based on what they want you.
People.
Oh, I agree. When the black motorist gets killed, I think
they change
75-80% of these are accidental or slip or got nervous, and then they go digging into the victim. Oh, he's been busted 2-3 times for weed before. Oh, he had a history of domestic. Anything to take shade off of that issue.
What's that have to do with anything?
But like I say, there's good cops, bad cops, good motorists, bad motorists.
There's been motorists that have been shot just because they're trying to get their wallet. I
teach my two boys, at nighttime, keep your wallet on the dashboard. Yeah.
Actually,
no herky-jerky. Your cell phone slips, let it go. Keep the registration in the glove box on top. Mm-hmm. Don't have it so you're fumbling, digging. Glass or something falls out and you get shot. And I keep my wallet, when I drive in that, I said, well, wallet's got to be closed. It can't be, hang on, it can't, no. Wallet's got to be closed.
I have a CD.
It's got to be closed.
I have another question, real quick. Well, these are the things we know that went viral. So you know what that tells me? And it ties into, I know you said, well, why do we all
stuff that are
preconditioned to think a certain way if we get pulled over, the brothers get pulled over? When we see these viral things, that means it's been many more that just don't go viral. That you don't know about.
Yeah.
And so, again, most people are good people. That's, you know what's funny? Out of everything in society, most people are good people. But like she said, the media has put it to the point where people believe on the perceptions of what they see, even if it's a lie. Even if it's an illusion. It's almost like society walks and lives and breathes off illusions.
They did that's real though.
You know what I'm saying?
That's the truth. Because nowadays everybody takes everything at face value. They don't look into it.
And nowadays everybody's so sensitive too.
How do we get around it?
Man, I don't know, man.
That's too many years of.
Yes, I don't know.
Improper.
Hire some women in the office.
Less media coverage.
Less media coverage. I heard.
And I can't believe I'm about to say this. Maybe tone down the thoughts of wrong. I can't believe I'm saying this.
I don't know if this is true. I heard.
Man, we need to mix it up. We need to mix it up.
I heard that all a police officer has to do it in a police officer involved shooting, when it goes to, gets investigated and all that, when it goes to trial or court, whatever inquisition, whatever they come up with, all the officer has to say is, and convince the jury of, it's not even a jury, it's investigated on the force, had to convince the force, the people that are investigating, that you were in fear for your life.
Mm-hmm. See, the thing is, though, they have another district come in to investigate that cop.
Now they do,
But it's still cops.
Yeah, they've been doing that for
That's a good
few
thing.
years. But
That's a
I
good
mean,
thing.
yeah, it is a good thing. But then again, you're right. It's cops, you know, investigating cops. It's not like a private investigator doing it.
But they have these investigations, and 9 times out of 10, the cop skates. And like I said, I don't know what and why. We got to fix that. But all I heard, I hope this is not true, all the officer has to say was I was in fear for my life. I honestly
This
was in
is
fear
where
for
I
my
do
life, and
agree
that's why I
with
shot.
the dash cams, the body cams. You can't alter that.
What in my mind, what's really interesting about this is from a corrections officer standpoint. You know, we're second to cops because we're there with the inmates and everything.
True.
You know, that's walking with them.
No, that's
Close
true.
proximities.
Here's the
daily.
thing: as a corrections officer, you're stuck in the jail with only handcuffs. That's it, and a radio.
In this, but I mean, there's
correction officers handle guns?
No,
there's response
only when you
time.
leave the.
Ain't no way in hell I'm be going
But here's the thing.
jail with no.
If they riot, you get stuck in situations. It
Yeah.
takes somebody a while to get to.
My
you.
thing is though, with cops and corrections, cops don't go. They don't get what they need to be, like by law. You know, they don't get what's supposed to be there by law. Corrections officers, the smallest thing, automatically, is they're done. You know, they're off, they're gone. But it doesn't matter for that. And I think, you know, those two should coincide, really. You know, because, you know, as a corrections officer, you're almost, you're not in the same position, but...
You're walking amongst the inmates
Exactly.
with nothing but this, and there's a response time.
One.
Oh, wow. There's response time to get to you. One last thing, the shooting of, what's his name, Philando Castile in Minnesota in 2016. He was shot by Officer Geronimo Yanez.
As soon as he said he had a licensed firearm,
yeah,
unfortunately the clock was ticking.
He worked for a school by day,
but he
cafeteria or something.
But he was an African American male who admitted he had a firearm.
No, he didn't admit he had a firearm. He told the officer, he said, I have a gun right here.
That's admitting you have a firearm.
He said, I'm licensed for it.
Right.
He said that. The girl had it on
You're right.
video. Officer shot first,
right.
5 seconds later.
What?
I'm going to tell you what burns me, why this officer should be
I'm not saying it's right, brother. What I'm saying
the little girl
is
was in the back seat.
You're right.
The girl was in the back
You're
seat.
absolutely
And I know he saw her.
Yeah.
And he didn't get her, but just the recklessness of shoot first, ask questions later.
So what happened with the
says,
psychological test?
And he said, I have a license. I don't know.
He passed the psychological test, so obviously the psychological test does not let them know, either doesn't let them know that this person has prejudices or they ignored it.
That's the one
that answers the question that you asked about earlier.
So,
it's one or the other. Now, how do we determine that? I don't know. But that answers the question on your whole thing about the psychological test. I think it's bogus.
The psychological test to get on.
Right.
To get on the force.
Right. How did he pass? How did he pass? How did the guy who shot the 12-year-old boy playing in the park pass?
Mm-hmm. In Cleveland, the one in Cleveland.
Right. How did they pass?
The kid with the toy gun pulled right up. Boom.
How did they
this
pass?
This kid was this tall. You know a man's body versus a kid's body. Yeah. He probably could barely hold the thing.
How did he pass? That's the question. So my thing is, either the psychological test do prove some challenges that you may have, and they ignored it, or
they knew what to say to pass the test.
Knew what they said, right?
Coached.
Because people talk. The guys talk. They got a lot of guys who go and become cops have affiliates and networks, so may have knew how to get around it.
The guy got off. He's lucky.
Because one thing I'm not challenging here is the test itself. I'm not going to sit up here and say, oh man, they testing out. Because I'm sure these guys, the think tanks and law enforcement they've seen a lot. I mean, military, they've seen a lot. So they know if a guy, regardless, black, white, whatever they are, whatever ethnicity, if they have these type of prejudices in the world, period. I'm sure the test probably will expose that. So obviously, a network of some sort allowed it to be ignored. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not going to sit here on this platform and knock the test itself. Because, first of all, I've never taken it. I don't know about it. So that's hypocritical to me to do a charge at something
Well,
I don't even know about.
That's a piece of the puzzle. That's not the puzzle.
You know what I'm saying? So, man, I ain't always getting all this deep, man. I done had a Starbucks.
This is good stuff. We got to go to break. We'll come back. Say a lot of these questions are open ended. We didn't get to the bottom of it. It would take an hour, 2-3 hours.
These are not questions you're gonna answer in 5 minutes.
No. Yeah, but I like
you asking us to get in the
open the
minds
door
of
for
people,
discussion.
of others.
Yes.
One thing I do realize out of asking this, it appears that everybody here has liberal mindsets, but society as a whole doesn't.
So true.
You know what I'm
'Cause
saying?
you get a lot of pushback from a lot of other people.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So-
we kind of agree. We can sit and talk about it. That's what I like. And we can agree to disagree. And that's what I love about this show. We got to go to break. We're coming back. Last segment, we're going to have a little bit of fun. We went over again. Damn it. What time are we at?
1:15.
1:15. We've been worse. Take 2-minute break. We're coming back. Last segment.
I'm not answering no speedo questions.
Happy Halloween.
You better not have no speedo questions on me. I'm not
I
answering
have to
no.
say it's
Like,
hysterical because on Chincoteague, where Pico's Tacos used to be, is a place that sells hammocks now, and it's called Banana Hammocks.
wow. Who put all this together? Then? You two? That's what's up.
So, Chuck.
This says a lot about y'all right here. This in itself says a lot about y'all. Like the mindset in here.
Either mid-season or whole season, when we come back, these hopefully will be hot. We'll have our TV up here to show a lot of stuff that we're doing.
This is a very powerful collective y'all have here. I don't even think y'all realize that. You know what is reflective about all of this? All of these people in some way in a facet of life were game changers.
You're deep today.
Yeah, cause y'all got me in this daggone.
He said, I didn't know y'all was going to be serious like that.
Yeah, man. I'm like, should have had a spark of tea or something. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean?
Tea and crumpets.
And crumpets. You know what I'm saying?
The guy that was in UK, the driver of the truck, is from Ireland.
Where?
From Ireland.
Where the fuck the
Really?
bodies come from?
They don't know yet. They're still trying to figure it out. And
Okay.
the problem is, I think it might be part of like a
Alright.
ring, one of those like trafficking rings.
Oh, use them up and they kill them?
Alright.
39 people is hard to get rid of.
It says the passengers, all of whom save one teenager appear to be adults, were declared dead on the scene. The driver, a 25-year-old man from Northern Ireland, has been arrested and suspicious of murder.
Oh, wow.
And
he
he was
was
probably
still alive,
just
he'd keep
he was
his mouth
probably
shut.
just the driver.
He's going to take that 20-year bid and keep his mouth shut.
Exactly.
Yeah, his
I
whole
know he
family
was
would be
there.
taken out if he speaks.
Yeah, he's dead.
None of the 39 are alive at all.
5, 4, 3.
So now they're trying to figure out who they were, where they came from.
We are back. Enigma Code DC. This has been a great episode. This, I wouldn't say is our best episode. I would definitely say this is our strongest episode. So let's switch gears. You know, I love to not tell you what the last episode's about, so I can try to catch you guys off guard and back.
Well, it better not
Are
be
you ready?
what I think it is.
What you think it's gonna be?
I'm not answering no crap on those speedos tonight. That right now. I'm not dealing with that. Oh,
You would
man.
not let that go. That was 3
Man.
weeks ago, a month ago.
That's probably why I ain't been here. I'm like, man, better not be talking about no damn speedos.
We will not let that go.
We
Will
ain't
you?
having that crap.
We're not gonna let that go.
Yeah,
You act like that was my questions. I was reading off of our
Chuck was
website.
like, what?
They were hypothetical questions that came from website.
Yeah, alright.
You got all up in
They
your feelings,
touched a
and you
nerve.
just won't let it go. Yeah.
Yeah, we ain't dealing with that, bro.
All right, I'm gonna change gears. You know what we're doing tonight? You ready, LG?
I'm nervous, but go ahead.
Yeah, you gotta be nervous. We're doing cartoon trivia. Is that okay? That'll work for you?
It depends on what kind of
Regular,
cartoons from
old
my
school,
era
all-
or
all-
these cartoons today. Because I've heard about these cartoons today. They're a little bit too damn liberal.
I won't watch them.
I heard about them today.
Oh, you are an old school soul, brother. All right, let's go.
Go ahead.
Popeye has how many nephews? 2, 5, 3, or 4?
I didn't know he had nephews.
Me neither. Huh?
I didn't either.
Take a guess. 2, 5, 3, or 4.
3.
5.
He's got 4. Pippi, Peep-A, Poop-A, and Poop-I.
What episode did they come out?
No
I
shit.
wouldn't have got that.
Look, it's like olive oil.
You know how many times what? But y'all were kids when I looked at Popeye.
Hey, I'm just reading the questions. Which character was Walt Disney's favorite? Mickey Mouse, Goofy, Donald Duck, or Minnie Mouse?
It's got to be Mickey Mouse because out of all of them, he's the Michael Jackson of them.
Yeah, I had to
Goofy.
say because he's his first.
I'm gonna say Goofy.
Goofy.
Wow.
It was
Wow.
Goofy according to a magazine. Empire dog was man's best friend, right?
Oh, okay.
But we know Mickey's the most marketable.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mickey got him filthy rich.
Right,
Yeah.
filthy rich. Disney, you think
Fucking
Mickey
the
first,
cheese,
not
just
Goofy.
saying.
Exactly.
Who was the quietest Disney princess? Aurora from Sleeping Beauty, Belle from Beauty and the Beast, Mulan from Mulan, or Cinderella from Cinderella?
Cinderella.
Aurora.
Yeah, I'm with her.
Cinderella.
Aurora.
Yeah.
Who was Aurora anyway?
Yeah.
I can't remember what.
Aurora spends so much time asleep that she only has 18 total lines throughout Sleeping Beauty. Wow.
Okay.
Which princess has dyed hair? Rapunzel, Bella, Tiana,
Ain't
or
none of us
Cinderella?
knowing, but maybe
Rapunzel's the only one I can think of because it changes.
What were the choices?
Oh man, I gotta go back. Rapunzel, Bella, Tiana, or Cinderella?
Tiana, just a guess.
Are the same people with the speedo question one behind
Man,
us?
now let that question go, man. Let that go.
I mean, we're asking us about.
Have some fun, man. Take it for what it is.
Take a guess.
He's so amped up from the serious stuff. Now I'm trying to unwind it. He's still amped up. It was Rapunzel.
Haha.
Next one. Pocahontas was supposed to have a talking pet. Squirrel, wolf, turkey, or mockingbird?
Squirrel.
Bird.
Turkey.
Turkey.
You are on a roll tonight.
Man.
Yeah, you rocking, bro. We can put you on them dang game shows. You can win us $25,000 or something.
Not even close.
Daisy Duck has 3 nieces.
I
April, May, and June.
already don't know.
True or false?
True.
False.
Daisy Duck? I don't even know who Daisy Duck
Take a
is.
guess, man.
Donald's.
Take a guess.
Donald's maid squeeze.
Yeah. Daisy Duck
Really?
has 3 nieces. True or false?
Donald Duck had a main squeeze? I thought it was the skunk that had a main squeezes.
No, he tried.
He
tried.
Pepe Le Pew tried. Just saying.
Pepe Le Pew.
He always
He
had
tried
something
to
he
get the
tried
cat.
to slide up in. You know
With
what
the
I'm saying?
cat. With that damn cat. That's
Yes,
what he was
the
doing.
cat.
But no, I don't think. I think it's a no.
Oh, man.
Because it
I'm
was
saying
nephews,
false.
not nieces.
I don't know.
True or false?
False.
False.
Actually true. His nieces' names are April, May, and June.
Really?
No.
I know.
Did they date Huey, Dewey, and Louie?
Couldn't tell you that.
Well, no, because they're Donald Ducks.
That's true.
Next
Families.
one. This is a good one. Originally, what color was Tweety Bird?
Oh.
Oh.
I don't know that one. Because he's always been
Black.
iconically yellow. So,
I'm trying to picture how Donald Duck and his beak trying to kiss the other one. That's what I'm trying to still figure out.
they
What
just
they
peck at the
they
top.
smacking, like they smacking each other's.
I don't know.
I'm still stuck on that whole
What was it?
vision. Like,
Purple?
what the hell are they kissing?
I'm going to say purple.
I'm guessing black, just for the hell of it.
Man, I don't know. If I didn't even listen, I'm still trying to figure out how Donald Duck
Yeah,
gets
black
in
and
that.
white. Right there.
You know what I'm
Black and
saying?
white.
You want me to answer that?
Answer. Pink. That was the
Pink.
color. That was the original color. Next one. What is Donald Duck's sister's name? Anybody know?
I am still trying to
I
figure
didn't know
out.
he had a sister.
I'm still trying to figure out how Donald Duck was kissing another chick,
He's stuck
and
on
you
that.
asking me who his sister is.
Alright, I'll give you the answer. Dumbella.
And how fitting, Dumbella.
What cosmic superhero cartoon character was created in 1934?
Cosmic?
Man, come on.
Underdog.
Cosmic space. No, I misread. Cosmic Space Hero was created in 1934. Cartoon.
1934.
Oh, he
What
saved
kind of
every
I
one
hero?
know
us.
this.
Oh, he saved every one of us.
I know this.
Superman?
No.
No.
It's
Regular guy.
I can't think of the name of it. I know
I
the
can't
jingle
either, and I
is-
know it.
Flash Gordon.
Yeah.
Flash.
Well, you should have got that one.
And you look at a guy who loved He-Man and
Right.
Thundercats,
Oh, that was a good one.
and X-Men.
Anybody know the Incredible Hulk's girlfriend?
She-Hulk.
Hmm?
She-Hulk.
It was gonna take a She-Hulk to deal with that.
I know,
I
right?
didn't know. I don't know her full name, but it's She-Hulk.
You gonna kiss something green?
Betty Ross.
Really?
What?
Okay. I didn't know that was her name. I know she turns into She-Hulk, but
In the 80s, you better get this one right. Wile E. Coyote's scenes were edited for being too what?
graphic.
Cussing.
A little bit of each. Violent. Too
Violent,
Yeah.
yeah.
Edited in the 80s.
I already know.
In The Simpsons, what's the name of the police chief?
I
Good
should know
one.
this because I'm gonna
No.
show. I'm about to show how old I am. I came out. I was in college when The Simpsons came out.
I know this one too. I can't think of the name of it. Officer.
I have
We
no
should know
idea.
it.
It's been a
You
while
should
since I
know
actually
it.
watched Simpsons.
I should know it. It's embarrassing I don't know it because I started college in '86.
I want to say Doofy, but that ain't right.
Give up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I give up because I forget.
Chester Wiggums.
Wiggum.
Wiggums, Officer Wiggums.
Oh, I'm having fun with this.
What's my song here? Alexander O'Neill.
Before spinach, what did Popeye eat for strength?
Spinach.
Before spinach.
I don't know,
Kale.
man. Beets.
Close. Garlic.
Oh, so you had steak
Garlic,
breath.
really?
Yeah, he's like, I didn't.
This was Popeye. No wonder he had no girl.
He got olive oil.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah, olive oil. Yeah. Well,
What do Beavis and Butthead have on their t-shirts?
oh
Oh.
man, damn, I
Cornholio?
really should know that.
What?
Metallica.
Yes.
Metallica.
AC/DC, yes.
Metallica.
Finally. Come on, y'all.
Metallica.
Peanuts, Charlie Brown's best friend.
Pigpen. No, not Pigpen.
Linus?
Yeah. Linus.
Snoopy, actually.
Snoopy.
Yeah, Snoop.
Snoopy. Not his best communicating friend, but
Yeah, because he used to make him look like a butthole all the time.
the one
Yo,
that's
you fall for this all the time.
Like the girl fucking taking the football.
Yeah.
Yep.
This is a hard one. In Batman Forever, who rejected the role of the Riddler?
I don't know.
Ooh.
Robin Williams.
Yep.
Really?
I would never got that. That's why
Really?
I didn't know
He made
that.
a ton of money on
I couldn't
that.
remember.
Well, he already made a ton of
He
money.
didn't. I don't remember what. He was in the middle of something else. Is why he didn't want to do it. I think.
Still surprised he killed himself.
I think it was Aladdin or something. He didn't want to do it.
Winnie the Pooh lives where?
100 Acre Woods.
Yes, sir. Woo! All right. On The Simpsons, what is the name of the cat?
I don't know.
Oh, so
I forget.
that cat.
These are hard.
I don't know either.
Snowball.
Snowball.
Not even a white cat.
This is somebody who Googled and then put it up there.
Yep.
They ain't know.
You should know this one. What cartoon character's first name is Quincy?
Jones.
So what?
What cartoon character's first name is Quincy?
What cartoon character first name is Quincy?
On the cartoon. His name is Quincy something.
I don't know.
Mr. Magoo.
Really?
Damn, I
I
should
never
have known
watched
I
that.
know you said. That's why I was looking at you.
I should have known that. 'Cause my buddies used to call me Mr. Magoo of the Hood. I should have known that.
Which group of Marvel comic superheroes battled Doctor Doom?
I don't know.
Dr. Doom.
I don't.
I want to say X-Men, but I
Close.
think it's Fantastic.
No, it's not the X-Men.
Yes. Yes.
Fantastic.
Yes,
Four.
sir.
Fantastic
I would have known if it was X-Men. Trust me, that's
No,
my
yeah,
favorite
see-
right there.
I
Yeah.
love Gambit.
Yeah. I'd have X-Men fanatic.
Which X-Man laser beams from his eyes?
Cyclops.
Yes, sir.
Or his brother, but his brother didn't use his eyes. His brother used his body.
So you guys are pretty good with that.
Sorry.
I'm done.
Yeah, I mean, come on, that X-Men.
That's an
Man,
easy one.
I don't even know a guy who don't like X-Men. Matter of fact, I'm gonna question him if he don't.
Right?
Like if he in the room and he say, "Yo, man, I'm right then and there, we all gonna hit him with the scoop." What? Oh, okay. Now you under review now. I'm saying you just messed up.
Put your card out. We got to double
Yeah,
check.
we had to check this out now. Like, who's in there with us? You know what I'm saying? Dude, you don't like X-Men? Is you crazy?
Mm-hmm. No, I like the originals better.
I do. I like the originals better also.
But
I
Hugh
think they
Jackman-
embellished. I think they embellished a bunch of.
I will have to say Hugh Jackman will forever be Wolverine. I don't think
Yes.
they can find a better person.
Yes.
Not anymore, at least.
1, 3, 0.
I don't know. Well, yeah.
Well, not at this point.
Not at this point. Yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah.
You're
right. Yeah, I guess.
Quick
you're right.
recap, fellas. We up out of here.
All right.
The World Series Game 2. Washington 2, Houston 2. Bottom of the 6th inning. Wow, so that's a dogfight. They're in it.
It's still
Recap. We did bullying. Right?
Yep.
We did, what else did we do?
It's been so much.
School shooter.
School shooting.
Contingency plans, which
What should we do about it?
it
Cops.
never. That's a conversation that never. There's never going to be enough coverage in a school. And my thing is, schools are not supposed to be making profit. If they're sitting on hundreds of millions of dollars, every school should be 100% bulletproof sure. You should have to have a tank to get in the school. Kaepernick, which led into the next question: America's perception of white shooters, white cops, black shooters,
To avoid
all the
They're
incidents.
trying to avoid talking
Where'd you
about
come
it.
from?
America's actually.
Kaepernick set the platform for that, but somehow in translation they got twisted into something else.
Mm-hmm.
And we did, I broke it up at the end. We did cartoon trivia. So before we ride up out of here, because it's been a very good week, 2 more episodes, and we are going to take a mid-season break or a season break. Come back and change up the studio a little bit for the better. Any questions, gentlemen, before we ride out?
So
Closing thoughts?
Are we coming here next Wednesday? Yes or no?
Is next Wednesday Halloween?
No, Thursday is Halloween.
I can do Wednesday.
Okay.
Yeah, next Monday's 30.
Next Wednesday 30th? I can do Wednesday.
I think
Yeah.
that
We talking about sports?
Pink Day.
Gotta wait and see what pops up on the hot box.
I'm not
I like
good
to
at
kind of keep it
sports,
current.
but I work on it. I'm not good at sports, but I do my
Yeah,
homework.
but
Let's
you
put
do.
it
Yeah,
that way.
you do. You do a
Okay.
good job of.
So that's how y'all come up with this. It's thrown out
We're
there.
supposed to be sports, food, and politics, and obviously
Okay.
anything the hell else we want to talk about.
Okay.
And then special.
Okay.
Yeah, but
All
keeping
right.
it current and keeping when stuff pops up current, I think that's helps us build our audience.
Okay.
Nationals and Astros have been 2-2 since round 1.
Yeah, this they might be in for long.
Yeah, they're going in for a
If the
nice
Nats
Long
lose tonight,
night.
if the Nats lose, great, because you've already won 1 on the road. If they win, you might as well get the
It's
bottles
done.
out because it's
Yeah.
happening.
Well, they're against the what was it, the Astros for the next 3 nights.
Yeah, because it's 2-3-2. So 2 in Houston. They've already won 1. They'll come back here to DC for Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
7 games.
So you know what? I'm coming back Sunday, so I'm gonna head straight to
I'm
over
going
there.
one night.
I'm gonna drive. No, I'm going to do Lyft. That's what I'm saying. I'm gonna leave the car at the train station.
You're gonna make a killing.
Yeah, I'm gonna crush him Sunday.
You're gonna make a killing.
Because I'm due to be back at 4:45 at Union Station.
So unless you guys have any other questions, name code DC will be up in YouTube early morning. If you have questions, hit us up on Facebook. Whatever. We love questions. We love comments. Happy pre-Halloween. Our wonderful everything, Fiery Phoenix on the cameras, production, everything.
I like that name, Fiery Phoenix. That's
Fiery Phoenix.
you should fiery what?
Fiery Phoenix.
Phoenix, like Phoenix, Arizona. Fiery Phoenix.
As
like
in
the
the
Phoenix,
bird.
the bird on fire.
Oh, like the bird.
Oh, the
Okay.
F. Fiery
Oh,
Phoenix.
fiery. Yo, you should
Phoenix is still spelled with
copyright that name
Co-host Magnus
as a
Burnside.
brand. You should.
And LG.
I'm
We'll
dead
see y'all next
serious.
week.
Dead
Thank you
serious.
for tuning in and hanging with us.
Yes,
Everybody
sir.
have a great week.
Have a great one. Love you too, man. Yeah, she should copyright that name as a brand.